Today, I call upon all of my drop top disciples as we pray at the temple of the folding roof. We're giving praise to my favorite kind of car, the convertible car. Yet, though I walk through the valley of the scorching sun, I will fear no blistered forehead nor any bugs in my teeth. Can I get an amen, Brother Miata?
Amen.
Preach on. Okay. So, we are talking about convertibles today. How are you, John?
I'm doing well, Stace. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm talking about convertibles, my favorite kind of car. I kind of tend to think of myself as the patron saint of top-down motoring.
I see. I also love convertibles.
Yeah.
And probably like you, I love convertibles in all weather. If it's cold out and I've got the heated seat on or heat blowing at me,
Don't mention any of the convertibles that you own because we're going to talk about that later in the show.
Okay, fair. But I love driving in a convertible in just about all weather conditions. So it's more than just a sunny day. I like all of it. It just feels really good and connected to the world.
Yeah. It'd be something similar about riding a motorcycle, I think.
Yes. And I don't know, if I was less risk averse, I'd probably be riding motorcycles. Yeah. But at this point in my life, I just I'm ashamed, but I don't partake in riding motorcycles. But I feel really good about putting myself in a car that has no top.
Yeah, absolutely. So cars with no top. That's a good segue into the history of convertibles. So let's talk about them because at one point, all modes of transportation, like a wagon, didn't have a top, right? So let's talk about where the history of the convertible came from. Now, I know in your show notes you talked about this thing here.
I did.
What the hell is this?
So this
what kind of contraption? This is not a car.
Technically, it's the first car, depending on who you ask. Specifically, the Germans will tell you that this is the first car. Okay. And in 1886, was it Carl Daimler? Bob sure. Daimler? No, I think it was Carl. Anyway, created this contraption, which is largely perceived to be the first automobile.
Yes.
And if you notice, the first car, no top. Now, at the time, I don't think they thought of themselves as driving without a top, because what came before this for most folks was a horse. And as most people know, horses don't have tops. Yeah. So this was just a mode of transportation, and I don't think anybody had thought of enclosing it yet. So I don't know if we can say that the convertible was born here, because there was no alternative. This was just all we had.
Yeah. We will ignore the fact of the Conestoga wagon or Little House on the Prairie.
No offense to Michael Landon. He did a heck of a job.
Yeah. Anyway, so to me, this represents motorized transportation, but it doesn't really feel like a car yet to me, just because of the controls and everything like that. But there is some consensus around the 1906 Cadillac Model K being a true convertible, right? I mean, did you look into any of this at all? Do you know anything about it?
Yeah, I did. I was checking it out, and look, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think I know a lot about cars, right? I think in previous episodes we've seen I can identify things basically from a wheel or an emblem or a piece of a fender. But when it comes to pre-war stuff, my knowledge kind of sinks pretty quickly. And so, the early aughts are really hard for me. But I did take a look at this, and it was my understanding that the Model K took two different models and kind of put them together to feature this car.
Mm-hmm. Model K or Aries K? Which would you prefer?
Ooh, make mine an Aries K.
Okay. Excellent. It's something else I want to do is, there are so many different ways to refer to convertibles. And I want to go through the different types of open air motoring and look at the different versions of those cars and sort of talk about what makes each of them different. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. So Targas. So I noticed from your research that this is not a 997. That's a nine. Well, whatever that was. So that's the 1967, 64 Targa. Was that the first Targa?
The first Targa was 1966.
66.
And so that looks like a 66 because it's a short wheelbase car with the soft back window, which later models, I believe, starting in 1969, became fixed glass.
Mm, okay.
So that car right there, relatively rare and certainly worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
Um,
What would
being,
you say? What would you say the values are? What is the value range of those cars?
I mean, if I had to hazard a guess, I would I would think it's 100, between 100 to maybe 140,000.
Okay.
Um, that's just me.
Based on recent auctions, perhaps.
I've seen some auctions close recently that kind of gives me this sense of the value of the car.
Yeah. Another, so 997, the real 997 Targa down here. I'm a fan of the current generation Targa, but also the 997 Targa. That large sliding piece of glass, I think, is very cool. I think the 996 had that also, but also the hatchback. It's just like, it's not really practical, but it's a cool feature to have on this car in case you want to put, like, I don't know, a bouquet of flowers laying back there on that platform.
When we're talking about 911s, I'll be 100% honest here.
Hmm.
I hated Targas when I was a
Oh,
kid. I hated the 1970s 911 Targas. I didn't like the aluminum fascia that they put on the roll over hoop. I didn't like the vinyl top. It wasn't my cup of tea. However, as I get older and grayer, um, I have an appreciation for them. And I guess specifically the 1970s 911, the accordion bumper ones.
hmm.
Look, we're not going fast in those cars anyway, unless it's a turbo. And even at that, they're not exactly fast by modern standards. So if it's a car that you're cruising in, if it's a car that you're just going to enjoy, I think it's great. It's a great alternative to a full convertible.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to put that top on and off that I would happily take one, although I can't afford a 70s 911 anymore.
Was we know that if you wanted a 66, they'd be relatively expensive.
Yeah.
The 997s are more reasonably priced. They're in the 50 to $60,000 range. Um, so what sets a Targa apart from a convertible generally is, open air above you, but more than a sunroof. Generally, there's going to be some sort of roll bar, roll hoop behind you. In the case of the 355 or the Fiat, um, I love the 355 GTSs. I just think they're gorgeous, gorgeous cars.
And it's funny, as you say that, my thought is, as you say, I was going to finish with the Fiat X19.
Yeah.
I think that's such a cool, and as much as I had disdain for the 911 Targas as a kid, I equally or oppositely, anyway, I really love the X19. I just think it's an amazing design.
Yeah.
I think it looks cool. It's similar in its mission, but I just think that it pulls it off better than a 70s 911. It's a really cool car,
Yeah.
especially in that color.
Yeah, awesome. I love that color. There, a lot of people do a K20 swap on these, so that the car has a little bit more get up and go, or it can get up when you turn the key.
I got to imagine that would be terrifying to drive, although I would give it a go happily.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up on our list are this thing called Roadster, and we also talk about spiders a little bit later in the segment. But Roadsters and spiders, do you see a difference in your
Me
head?
personally, I do not. And in
Same.
my research and in discussions that I've had, I guess let me back up a little bit.
Go ahead.
When you came to me and you said, "Hey, let's talk about convertibles,"
Mhm.
it gave me pause for thought. I was like, "Well, it seems pretty broad." And it is. It's a broad topic, convertibles. However, when I started doing research and we start looking for the synonyms of convertibles, right? The types of convertibles there are, the different names as automotive enthusiasts that we have for convertibles. I realized that this was definitely a worthy topic, if for nothing else, like realizing how many names we have for getting sunburn on the crown of our heads while we're driving. And so along those lines, we're talking roadsters, we're talking spiders. I didn't see a huge difference. And I guess I would round out this conversation about convertibles in general as, don't tell anybody, but a lot of this is marketing.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's a lot of marketing surrounding, what are we going to call it? Well, we're going to call it a roadster. Well, how's that different from a spider? Not sure.
Yeah. I agree. I don't see a difference. I see spiders and roadsters as being small, 2 seats, emphasis on fun rather than practicality. Like that MGB. I mean, you're not doing well, you would do pickup, the school pickup in that.
I would. It would be a little tight because I have 2 kids, but
Yeah.
we'll make it work.
Hey, let me ask you a question. So the MGB or the S2000, which would you choose?
I would choose the S2000.
Wow, I'm surprised.
But let me just say, I like the MGB more. And so in previous episodes, we've talked about this a little bit. And, you know, discovering who you are as a car enthusiast is sort of a lifelong pursuit. At least it is for me.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm learning about myself is I can't have cars that are too old. The problem that I have is I use my classics almost as modern cars. I run errands in them. I ferry the kids around in them.
Mm-hmm.
And having a 40 or 50-year-old car, it becomes really difficult to do those tasks. But a more modern car I can use and enjoy, and take my kids where they need to go, which is generally way further from my house than I ever want, but that's where we are. So because of that, the S2000 fits my life better.
And now back to the show.
I mean, but I like the MGB. I think it's a classic look.
What about drop head coupe?
Drop head coupes. I always
Drop
think of it
head.
as British. Like you almost have to say it with a British accent, do you not?
You
I'm
do.
not going to do it because it would be embarrassing.
I can't do a British accent. It sounds like I'm trying to insult an Indian person.
Perfect. And that's our show, folks.
It's been fun. Drop head coupe is a car that began life as a coupe, and they made it into a convertible. So it's not designed as a convertible, at least by the dictionary definition. So that's what we have here. We have the Audi S5 and the Jaguar XK140 drop head coupe.
I have a question for you. Are you ready?
Go for it. Yeah.
Which looks better, the XK140 as a drop head coupe or a fixed coupe?
The fixed coupe.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. You get one of those in black and you are Batman. I mean, those are some awesome looking vehicles. They're really sleek.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think that there's a certain elegance, and I will argue it's not relegated to the older Jaguars. We can go up to the late 90s, early 2000 XKs. Mm-hmm. And I always prefer the coupe over the convertible. It's just I don't know. There's something about that fastback design that they did it right.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about the Audi for a second too.
Yeah.
Are you a fan? I know you're a fan of Audis.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the A5 S5, which I think has just recently been discontinued, and I think it looks better as a coupe.
Yeah, I agree. Although, if I were to buy a modern convertible,
mm-hmm.
an A5, I don't know that I would do an S5. Yeah, I guess I would if it was the right deal. But an A5 to me just looks so elegant. It's it's a pretty car. Yeah, so maybe I disagree. Maybe I think the drop head coupe Audi looks better as a convertible. Yeah. I don't know.
So you asked about the XK140 drop head versus the regular coupe. Drop head versus roadster, or OTS, the open two-seater.
Oh,
Which would you prefer?
oh,
Which is more attractive?
I still think the coupe.
Out of all three, that wasn't even one of the options. We're
Oh,
going drop head coupe versus the OTS, but okay, I get it. That's fine.
I'm still, yeah, I'm blazing my own. I'm just blazing my own trail. I know what the options were. I'm gonna go with coupe still.
Excellent. I
No,
get that.
I'm standing by it. I'm doubling down on my not listening skills. Ooh.
Cabrio. So Cabrio is generally a convertible, but has a roll hoop kind of thing. Here we have two examples: the VW Cabrio and the Celica Sun Chaser. Do you say Celica or Celica?
I mean, I enjoy Celica way more, but it's been ingrained in me that it's Celica because I'm a, boorish American.
Yeah. I won't go there. I have never seen a Sun Chaser in the flesh.
It's not attractive.
Okay.
It is worth noting. I don't know how many of those Celicas I've owned, but it's definitely more than one, although it's probably less than 6. I love those Celicas. They don't drive particularly well. They're not fast, but they remind me of my youth. This
Long
It's all
gone.
gone. Look at me. Am I youthful? Anyway, the Celica, the Sun Chaser, was created by a company called Griffith. Did you know that? Or Griffin? It
Like
depends
a
on.
dragon?
I guess so.
No, that's a
Oh,
dragon with a lion's head.
yes, and maybe that's their logo. We'll have to double check. But anyway, it was kind of a specialty company. Toyota partnered with them for a little while, and they created these convertible-ish cars. You're right; it's got the rollover hoop. It's got a soft top. It kind of looks like a Targa. It kind of looks like a Cabrio. It's sort of a hybrid, and it wasn't done particularly well. And the reason I say that is because when the next generation of Celica came out, they went to ASC, American Sunroof Corporation, to perform the convertible conversion. So clearly they weren't huge fans of the Sun Chaser.
Yeah.
The Cabrio
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, the Cabrio, on the other hand, was built by Carmen, a longtime Volkswagen partner.
Mm-hmm. Coach builder, some would say.
Coach built. Thank you. Of the two,
these two here.
Let's go with these two here. Why not?
Yeah.
Do you have a preference?
Cabrio all day, man. VW.
Same. I'm on record as saying I love Cabrios, Cabriolets, the Mark 1s and the Mark 3.5s. I love these cars so much. They're fun to drive. They don't make me feel guilty like I'm spending somebody's inheritance. They're cheap to run.
Whose inheritance would that be? If you're spending someone else's.
Well, I'd be spending my children. Like if I was to, that's fair. I get it. But they're so cheap to run and they're so much fun for what they are. They're totally not pretentious. Like you just show up and people smile. They're happy. I don't get that a lot. So it's good when the car can help out and make me a little softer and kinder.
No, absolutely. So we talked about roadsters before. Now we're looking at spiders, specifically an Alfa Romeo Giulietta Spider and an MX-5 Miata Spider. Spider, again, I look at it as a small two-seater with a convertible top, roll-up windows, and engine in the front.
Engine in the front, rear-wheel drive exclusively?
It doesn't have to be. I guess I'm sure there are. What about wasn't the MG, was it the C that was front wheel drive?
Yeah, car that we never got.
Yeah.
In the States.
I still don't get it.
No, there are a bunch of Alphas and Fiats that also were, I believe, Spiders, but were front wheel drive.
Yeah.
configured.
What about the spelling, spider versus spider?
Again, I think we're delving into more marketing than anything else, which is fine. And that was not that that was the thing that I kept discovering over and over again when doing a little bit of research on this, but after a while, even the most like I consider myself like a dedicated car enthusiast, right? I love cars almost more than anything.
Yeah, we hear
But
that a lot.
even after a while, I'm like, ooh, I think this is just a marketing ploy because this is the same or similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I would tell me about your Giulietta. Just briefly. Like, what's your favorite thing about the Giulietta?
Favorite thing about owning one, or favorite thing about the car itself? Like,
Just the car itself, as somebody that appreciates automobiles. I mean, yes, you own one, so I'm sure the owner experience is specific by itself. But just as a standalone car, what's your favorite part of that car?
physically, or can I say the engineering behind it? Because
you can say whatever you want. This is a free country.
Thank you. The engineering. So this was a little overhead cam, inline four, love to rev. The car, even though it has a solid rear axle, handles way better than it deserves to. So much better than its contemporaries, an MGA or a 356. I'm going to say that again just so everybody can hear me. So much better than a 356. 356 is really, it's like a garbage can on skateboard wheels compared to a Giulietta, just like driving one and trying to hustle it around corners, up hills. I just love I'm just amazed by what the Italians did with the limited resources they had in 1954 when they designed and started building these lovely creatures.
We should probably at some point have a separate episode dedicated to this, but I would love to explore why the Italians made such emotionally gratifying automobiles.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to insult anybody, certainly on this podcast, but the Italians are not exactly known for reliability, longevity, engineering that's going to last generations.
Yeah.
However, when you talk about emotion and feeling and, certainly engineering, if you look at Lancia, Alpha, like all of the things that they've brought to the world, they came up with great ideas. There's just some execution issues that I would love to explore, in the future.
In the future, that's a good example. So when we talk about when we get to that episode, we're going to start it off talking about like the longevity of Italian innovations. We're going to start with the Roman arches and the roadways and the aqueducts.
We're going to go. It's going to be a quick 9-hour podcast, a marathon, if you will. We'll have people bring in food and drink to make sure that we're. Wait! You have to go back. Can you go back?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Can we talk about the Miata for it's tough because the Giulietta is I don't know. It's just amazing.
I think any conversation about convertibles without talking about the Miata at depth is sacrilege, right? So I think convertibles still exist in 2025 free country America because of the Miata.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love Miatas. I will always love Miatas. I don't know if I've told
this. I think Whitney Houston sang that song.
I believe, and I think Kevin Costner was like, there's a scene where he's running and she's singing about Miatas. I don't remember exactly. However, I remember being 15 years old, getting Road and Track. There's a picture of a Miata on the cover and bringing it to my father. And my dad, not a car guy, like just admittedly not a car guy, looking at it and going, okay. And then inexplicably getting in the car with me and driving to the Mazda dealer, the Fitzpatrick Mazda, I believe, in Derby, Connecticut. And we brought the magazine with us, and none of the salesmen knew anything about it. We were the first people, like, it was the day the magazine came out. I remember this vividly because my dad never really entertained my car, he just saw it as kind of a dumb pursuit, because let's be honest, it is. He's right. But goodness, like, it was amazing. And to show up and be like, hey, your company's coming out with this, and all the car salesmen who were smoking butts and like not really caring. They're like, oh, that thing looks pretty cool. Anyway, my enthusiasm has never diminished from that day. They're just amazing cars.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I agree. Someday I will own one, an NA. That's what I'd like in this Mariner blue.
Yes.
Yeah. Want to talk about the hardtop convertibles?
I do. Hey.
We have two cars up on screen now. We have the 1948 Playboy, which was the first car with a movable piece of metal bolted to its roof. The car did not last. The production did not last long. I think there's something like 90 cars. John's looking out to see if there's one in his driveway. There is not.
Yeah, apologies. That's not supposed to be there. It's fine. Everything's fine, folks. It's a small fire. Yes, the Playboy, which is why I was laughing, because I do believe I sent that to you in the notes. Playboy.
Yes.
Considering this was named before the magazine,
which came out what year?
1954.
Yeah, was it 53 or 54? Something like that.
It's the early 50s, but yeah, the connotation of a 1948 Playboy versus a 1955 Playboy, those few years, or those several years, I guess, would totally change the meaning of Playboy.
Yeah. Well, a hardtop convertible was not attempted until about 10 years after Playboy the magazine came out in 63 with the Ford Fairlane Skyliner. Have you ever seen one of these operating?
I don't know that any still operate. I got to be honest with you. It's a 57 was the first year that.
Oh, 57. I'm sorry.
The Skyliner. It's all good. It's all good. But they're notorious for not working correctly. So to answer your question, I've never seen one in operation, because I think I've seen the cars before, but I don't know of an owner that's like, hey, do you want to see something cool? They're like, please, no, this is a bad idea.
Someone's going to lose a finger. Yeah. Actually, I saw it. So the only one I've ever seen in the flesh, it was operational. This is when I worked at Black Horse Garage. We had one in the showroom, and it was just incredible to watch. And it's funny that you say, like, no one's ever saying, hey, let me show you how this works. We did that. Like, every time somebody would come in, we're like, yeah, see how this thing works. Because you've got this large, like, Thanksgiving-sized table here that swings open first. And you got the top that comes out, and it's all happening kind of slowly because we're talking about 1950s hydraulics here. But it was like amazing to see this thing happen, and the front flips up and then it closes down, and it's like, but to see the car in person, even though cars of the 50s that had these ungainly proportions, this was more ungainly than most. It's sort of like TV's Talking Horse, B. Arthur. It was that attractive. It was this panel was just massive, so but such a cool car. And you can imagine, like, going down to the drive-in in this thing and, like, wowing everybody with it. So cool.
It's definitely a cool vehicle and a cool concept. Like, as the first production car to be able to say, yeah, it's the solidity of a hardtop, but the fun of a convertible.
Right. If you're worried that Sputnik is spying on your brain thoughts, put a metal roof over your head. Playboy.
I was trying to incorporate Playboy. I'm glad you got there. That's awesome.
All right. You want to see what's next?
I do. I'm excited. Oh, yes.
Land O'Lakes.
So I think I mentioned the first time I saw the Land O'Lakes with the cross out, I almost did a spit take of my breakfast. I Land O'Lakes, whatever.
Land O'Lakes. So Land O'Lakes is a car that the the driver does not get to experience the pleasures of life, but the passengers in back get to feel the wind, the rustling of leaves, the smell of tobacco, whatever's going on at the time. Land O'Lakes. These are expensive. I've never seen one of these things. These Maybach 62s.
Neither have I. I've seen a Maybach, but certainly not a
A May
Land O'Lakes.
what?
A Land O'Lakes. You know, is there a point where maybe you have too much money?
Yeah.
Is this maybe the point? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I can afford a convertible and I can afford a hardtop, but you know what? Let's make a really expensive same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all right.
Speaking of semi-convertibles, we have the class called semi-convertible, and by semi-convertible we mean there's something over your head that moves back and forth so you can see the birds or not see the birds. But if you were to look left or right, you're going to see parts of a conventional car. A pillar, B, well, A pillar, hopefully you always have that, but B pillar, C pillar, and maybe a fixed window or two, like this BMW Bauer 3 Series and the 500C. These are relatively affordable if you have that kind of intestinal fortitude to try owning and living with one of these. You can find them for as low as $6,000.
I like the 500s.
Me too.
And I would happily own one. And I don't know that the horror stories are deterring me, which is a common theme in my automotive journey. Yeah. Oh, how bad could it be? As it turns out, terrible. But they can't be that bad, right? Like, can they?
No, they yeah, right. They can't be that bad. They can't be that bad.
They're modern. They tell you what's going on. They'll throw a code, but at least you have somewhere to go with that code.
Yeah, right.
Italy,
to the bar.
But,
yeah. I would take a
like
500E. I like the 500E, and I know as an electric car it kind of fails, but I love that they're like super cheap. Even new, you can get them. I think they probably stopped making them for 25, but even new, they were relatively inexpensive. Didn't have a lot of range, but for like 200 miles or 150 miles, or I think it was 118 miles. I think that was the number. But for me, that's more than enough. What about you?
My daughter has a friend who has a bright orange electric Fiat 500, and I will admit I get nervous every time my daughter gets in the car because I'm like, it's so small, like. But it's also really cool. Like, it's a cool car.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have an electric car and we drive it and it's great. I don't know how I would feel if it was range under 100 miles. Mm-hmm. Because at this point, like, used 500s are probably under 100. But, if you're running around town, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's cool. What about the Bauer? Do you like the Bauers? Have you
No, I think it's hideous. I think it's hideous.
Wow. Okay.
There are worse convertibles, which we'll talk about in the second half of the show, but I think this thing is hideous.
So we have a BMW 2002 that shows up every year at the New Hope Auto Show, and I talk to the guy every year as if I've never seen it before.
Does he have a goatee?
Yes, he does.
I'm sure he does. Does he have like a wide brim hat that like looks like he is on? He could snap the sides up and look like he's Crocodile Dundee. I bet he has a.
He's more fedora,
okay.
less Crocodile Dundee, but very affable guy. And his 2002 Bauer is, I think it's a little more attractive than the 3 Series, but I'll give it to you. They're not pretty cars. They're not prettier than the factory versions.
I think as a semi-convertible, I think the 500C works a little bit better.
Agreed.
Yeah, visually it works better.
I'm glad you had that caveat.
You want to talk about speedsters? How do you define a speedster?
The speedsters are folly. Let's be honest here. I can't imagine, like, in the boardroom, people saying, all right, we have this idea. Let's make this incredibly fast car. This thing is mind-blowingly fast. It's amazing. Should we put a windshield in it? No. No
Doesn't need
windshield.
it. Doesn't need it.
It's going to be so fast, it doesn't matter. It's just going to rip your eyeballs out of your head. It's going to be amazing. Are you sure? 100%. This is the way to go. People are going to pay more for the experience.
Yeah. Speaking of paying more,
Right? Yes.
you know, the SP2s, they sold in 2019 for like 1.8, and now they've appreciated quite a bit.
So when I bought my Lexus SUV in 2019, I should have bought one of these.
Mm-hmm.
Story of my life.
And you should not have bought one of those Aston Martin V12 Speedsters, because those started at like 950 or maybe like close to $1 million, and now they've dropped in price, which is a shame because conceptually it's really close to the Monza. But
I mean, I don't own an Aston or a Ferrari. Full and fair disclosure.
But when I do, it's a Speedster.
Don't you think, if you're buying an Aston and you're looking across the dealership at the Ferrari dealer, you have to think to yourself, there's a better chance of the car across the street appreciating, because I have about 100 years worth of experience knowing Ferraris are probably going to go up in value. Yeah. And I'm going to take a bath on this Aston. But you know what? I'm going to buy the Aston anyway.
Yeah. Yep. Speaking of little impractical cars, Barchetta.
Barchetta. I always say it wrong.
What do you say? Barchetta?
I say convertible. No, I sometimes I won't ever say Barchetta ever again, but
okay. Yeah.
The H is silent.
Yeah, well, in Italian, is when you have a C and an H together, they make a K sound, because there's no K in the Italian alphabet.
There's no K in the Italian alphabet?
No, sir.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the Barchetta, because I got to be honest with you, I spaced out a little bit as I was doing research. Is the Barchetta almost exclusively windscreens?
No,
like, not a full windshield.
No. So Barchetta,
I know
means
yeah,
a little boat, right? So it's like, but it's the curved body that that gives us Barchetta. Whereas
because it looks like a little.
These bad boys aren't as curvy.
Okay.
Yeah, I love this, the 166M. I think it's a gorgeous little car. And if I had $10 million, I'd buy a whole bunch of these. Just kidding. A whole bunch of the Astons.
I mean, they're definitely going to appreciate.
Definitely.
What else do we have?
Convertible trucks.
Now you're talking.
Now we're talking. Give me an SSR or a Samurai. No, I'm kidding. Don't give me an SSR. Give me a Samurai. I would take that thing in a heartbeat.
Yep, same. I love Samurais. Always did. Although, have you ever driven a Samurai?
No, sir. Taking
your life in your own hands. It's just so not made for American roads. Like, and this is the guy that owned an MG. I've owned lots of little cars. There's something about a Samurai. I would still drive one happily, but it just feels like pint size. It feels like a golf cart.
Yeah.
In stark contrast, there's the SSR. I hate the SSR. I don't know how else to say it. I just hate it. I hate it. I don't want to hate it, but I hate it.
I want to hate it, and I do.
Yeah, it's just terrible.
Yeah.
A SSR or a Prowler?
SSR.
Like me, do you put those two in the same category?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What else fits with an SSR? The Prowler, the SSR,
the PT Cruiser, the Chevy's version of that, whatever that was.
Oh, the HHR.
The the HHR was designed by Brian Nesbitt, and he also designed the PT Cruiser. And he was literally my client when I worked on the Cadillac brand at an advertising agency.
Did you this was before those cars came out?
It was after.
Did you ever discuss with him what he did wrong?
No, somebody asked him a question, and he had a patent response he would give. He said, there's so many differences between those two cars, and he said there are actually more similarities, and I think he said between a Camry and an Accord. He said there are more similarities between a Camry and Accord than the Cruiser and the HHR. And then somebody in the room said, "Why did you design the Camry?"
That's a great line. Wow.
Oh boy. Okay. Anyway, we gotta start cruising here.
All right. Let's talk about T-tops. God, I hate T-tops.
Me too.
Yeah. The old Supreme.
Yeah. Priceless.
I didn't like those cars when I was a kid, and now for some reason, like if by the side of the road later on today, if I drove past the 77 Olds Cutlass Supreme, there's a good chance I would come home with it. And God, my kids would hate me, but I don't know. I don't know why I like it, but I do.
Yeah. I have the Firebird on here because that was the last car, the 2002 Firebird, last car with T-tops, available T-tops.
Huh.
Yeah. Let's talk about, and the Brat gets honorable mention here.
Yep.
So I think that's all we have here. Yeah. So that's actually, do you want to talk about quickly why you think convertibles are going away, if they're going away?
Yeah. We can certainly talk about that a little bit. And I think in large part, let me back up a second. Convertibles not only fell out of favor, but the manufacturers thought that they were going to be outlawed by the mid to late 1970s. And the reason is many, but safety is kind of first and foremost, right? As cars got safer and safer, we did think, well, maybe if we don't put a top on it, it wouldn't be quite as safe. The other part of that is as air conditioning became standard on so many cars, your comfort was way more if you were in a coupe, a fixed roof car, over a convertible. Now
we became spoiled and fat.
Yeah, 100%. We're lazy. I mean, I think there's a little more work to be had for the enjoyment of a convertible. I think it's worth it. You think it's worth it, but the general consensus was maybe it's not worth it. Okay. But with hindsight, we realized convertibles weren't outlawed, and there was a resurgence. There was a resurgence. Let's not say there is, because with the proliferation of SUVs, we don't have as many convertibles on the market as we once did.
It's true.
And look, I think there's a lot of reasons. I think we're back to the same things that we were thinking about in the 1970s. It's safety and comfort and
my hairdo.
Your hairdo. I will say climate change is probably making people think twice.
Well, let's not get all depressed with climate change. Let's ask if these cars are convertible or regrettable. We're gonna do some rapid fire here, okay? You're gonna give me your opinion, snap judgment, and I'll do the same. You go first.
Okay.
Solera.
I mean, no, I don't like it. I don't like the wheelbase. I don't like how high the cowl is. I don't prefer it.
Yeah, ugly. I hate this car. This is my least favorite convertible ever. Regrettable. The M30.
The M30 always looked way too long and way too narrow for me. The narrowness is what really offends me about this car. And the crazy overhangs too.
Yeah. 930.
I'd rather have the coupe.
Yeah, this is awful. I say to myself, why do you even need a wing? I mean, you've got two wings here. This is going to provide so much downforce that you're going to scrape your bumper. I really don't like these. I think it looks poor.
Same. Nope.
No, I actually kind of like this.
I mean,
Like in a Barbie kind of way.
yeah, no,
Okay.
I can't get behind it.
How about this?
There is part of me, and I think what it is they're cheap, right? I'm the cheap car guy. I always will be. And they're so cheap and so unloved
Mhm.
that maybe if it was the right money, if it was the right price, maybe.
Yeah.
And that price is very low.
Yeah. All right. So
Would you or no? Is there
I
no
actually
price?
like the convertible better than the regular PT Cruiser.
Agreed.
You want to play a quick game of what did it close at, or it closed at what?
Either one.
Okay. So we are going to put this up on stage, and as usual, you've got about 10 or 12 seconds to surmise what this car might have closed at. Okay, you ready to go?
Okay, I'm ready. Mark 3,000. Let's say 38,000.
Man, you're close. It's 36.
Okay. I love the color.
Yeah, this was on Hemmings last month.
Okay.
Yeah. You ready for one more?
I'm ready.
Oh, I should say that I had a little theme going. So the first two cars are fiberglass.
Okay. 68 vet, 28,000 miles with a respray, and the headlights work. Well, goodness. 35,000.
Now you're off on this one. This one's 60. 68.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's got 28. I am imagining that it's documented and it's not just.
Right.
Okay.
And of course, the headlights pop up. They actually work.
I mean, huzzah.
All right. Here we go. Next one.
72. 88 respray, no rust, 4-speed. $8,000.
Jackass. It's $8,000.
Yes. $8,000. That's amazing.
Yeah, this sold this month on Hemmings. Yeah,
Okay.
you did well there. All right. Let's go for the next one here.
87 Jaguar V12 with 80,000. It's an award winner. Here's your award. Okay. Yeah, $7,500.
Close. 8,500.
8,500. Okay. Yeah, these cars don't get a lot of respect
Because they're a sin.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Oh, the Skylark convertible, 58,000 miles with a Wildcat V8. I kind of like it. I don't know why I like it. 11,500.
$7,000. You were off.
Ooh, I would drive that for $7,000.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got to check out
After I
Auto
just said
Hunter,
that I won't drive.
my friend. Is Auto Hunter a platform you ever go to?
Never, but I probably should for $7,000.
You're gonna find some
Kinda
bargains
dig that.
there. What about this one?
Huh. A 66 Cyclone GT. 50,000 miles. It's one of 100. Oh, I'm gonna get this wrong, but 35,000.
Nah, 41.5. Also on Auto Hunter. Yeah. Apparently, this one for way more than I thought it would. So being one of 100 pace cars maybe had something to do with it. But 35, I thought would have been generous for this car.
Agreed, because let's be honest here. One of 100, but the audience is only about 200 people that would buy it.
All right, that's me. Come on.
We have another one?
Yeah, can you see?
Oh, it's an 80. Yeah, but I don't know anything about it. The 80 SL, it's clean. I don't know how many miles are on it because I missed that part, but I'm going to say 12.
No way. You're far off on this.
Man,
This car is so clean. It is so. It looks so good. I actually sent it to a friend of mine, saying because she's looking for a pagoda, and I
Yeah.
said this would be a reasonable car to get into for like $7,000. Yeah, it was such a clean car.
How many miles are on it?
Oh, I'd have to rewind this thing, man. Don't make
That's
me do
okay.
that.
Don't do that. That seems like a particularly good deal.
83,000.
83,000. All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
All
They
right, now we
drive like
got.
big Mercedes.
Okay, we've got. Speaking of big Mercedes, we've got another one coming up right here in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, a 93 500 SL, 99,000 miles, 4-speed gray leather. It's 500. Ooh, that top looks terrible. That top looks good. I'm going to say $8,000.
Yeah, not far off. 7166.
Okay. No tail, too.
Yeah, didn't do it. That's the high as high as it went on the MB market. Do you ever check out MB market?
Sometimes.
So
Occasionally I will. That I do go.
it's not bad. They've got good stuff there.
Huh.
You want to see some other stuff? We got two more.
2 more. I'm ready. Oh, yes. 73, 911, 2.4. It's in Italy with 36,000 with a Viper green. I'm going to screw this up. I'm going to call this 110.
Not far, man. You're not far off. It's 114.5.
Okay.
Yeah, on Collecting Cars. Collecting Cars is a good site because they show stuff from all over the world.
All over the world.
Yeah.
No,
All right,
it's
this
a-
one you're gonna get wrong too. This next one.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm going to screw this up. 22 Ferrari, 812, 957,000 miles. $60,000 in options, I think it said. I'm gonna $308,000.
No, you're so far off. 420.
Yeah, I know. 420.
Yeah.
I don't know these cars at all.
Yeah.
I like it.
So do I.
like
I think it's good. We got another thing. You want to see some roofless characters?
I certainly do.
Get they're roofless.
I see what you did there.
Anyway, so these are cars that were featured either in a movie or a show, and they've become famous in the consciousness of car people and maybe Americans and maybe people around the world. Okay.
That's a large swath of people.
And we're just going to go through this. You know, we don't have to spend a lot of time on each one, but just there's some famous cars. And if you got a favorite memory or something, you share it with us. Okay.
I certainly will. Oh.
What is this?
That's the Kennedy Lincoln.
Yes. Sorry.
Yes, that is famous. Have you ever been to Dallas? Have you ever been to the Grassy Knoll?
No,
I have.
The book depository. Have you been there? Wow.
I have. It's gruesome.
Wow. Did you live in Texas for a while?
I did. I lived in Texas for 2 years, and that was a lot of time.
Okay.
Here's what I say: people who are from Texas absolutely love it. I'm from the Northeast.
Okay. All right. What about this car? So we're starting with 2 cars that people died in.
Yeah, no, this is uplifting. This is great. Little Bastard. I love this car. I love this car. Love this car.
550. James Dean.
Amazing. Hey, Ferris Bueller.
Ferris Bueller. That's right. This is the fake one. This is not the real California Spider that they had in the show or they used for the close-ups. This is 100% fake.
It's a well done replica.
Mm-hmm. It sure is.
I mean, from far away and,
long ago.
Yes. Love The Graduate.
Yeah. Elaine! I love that. That's a great movie. The Monkeys GTO. Come on.
I gotta be honest. I have nothing against George Barris personally. But if I saw him in an airport, I don't think he's with us anymore. But if he was and I saw him in an airport, I'd keep walking. Miami Vice.
That's right. Yeah.
The headlights always bothered me. They still bother me. It's
why they're too close? Or?
They're not right. They're not. It's not supposed to. Yeah, I don't like it. Thomas Magnum.
Yes.
Great car.
Yeah,
Great car.
absolutely. Was it ever a 328 or was it always a 308?
In later seasons, it was a 328.
Okay. Interesting. This one's going to be tough.
Hazel?
No.
I mean,
No. Vincent Vega from
ah,
Pulp Fiction. This is his 64 Malibu.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rare that I don't place the car with the movie, right?
Yeah. It's
But
also, this is in the daylight. So I think the only time that car was shown. No, okay, there was a daytime scene where he's like crashing through oh shoot, the drug dealer's yard, and he runs into like when he's got Mia and she's dead.
do you, apart from the movie, do you like this body style Chevelle Malibu?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I mean, I have nothing against it, but I wouldn't have any objection to driving around in one. There are cars I wouldn't want to be in. I would
Yeah.
drive in this.
Yeah, I don't think it's a car that I want. It's just a little bland.
Mhm.
And GM was so good at design in the mid to late 60s. This was always a little disappointing to me.
Yeah, this is the box that the little bar of soap came in.
That's true. Hell, Thelma. Are you
Yeah.
Thelma? Are you, which one of us is
Very nice.
yeah.
Which one of us is Thelma?
Yeah.
Neither. All right, you got that one. I'm impressed. What do you know what car that is?
Yeah, it's a 65 or 6 Thunderbird.
Yeah, I think I thought it was 64, but it could be 65.
Yeah, 61 to 63 and then 64 to I think 66. So yeah. Yeah, definitely yeah. Yeah.
All right, tell the viewer at home what they're looking at here.
Yeah, we're definitely looking at Rain Man. Yeah. Yeah, this is the Rain Man Buick
Roadmaster.
Roadmaster, and
Wow.
such a beautiful, elegant car.
Mm-hmm.
Such an amazing movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've had my kids watch it yet. I don't want them to know who I am until later.
Okay.
But the car connection to that movie, plus
Mm-hmm.
being a little bit on the spectrum, very relatable.
Yeah, absolutely. And the 4 portholes here symbolize the 4 aces in a deck of cards when you're counting cards.
Counting card.
All right, it's time for what is it? When we try to stump Johnny Miata. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, it's a Ford Ranger. It's definitely a Ford. I think it's like the Ranger, whatever the they had like a performance. Oh wait, it's the same truck. It's a convertible. What are you doing to me? It's still a Ford Ranger convertible. They didn't make those.
They did. There were like 17 or 18
Sky
of these.
Ranger.
The Sky Ranger. Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. I stumped Johnny Miata.
I mean, I got Ranger, and this one has different wheels.
What the thing? But you knew they were Ranger wheels.
Yes, but the Sky Ranger, who made Eurosport mirrors from a celebrity?
So I showed a clipping from a magazine so you would know that it really existed, because I didn't want you to think that it was another George Barris creation.
Yeah, I would have. I'm glad you did, because the Sky Ranger, I've never heard of it. That's rare. So kudos, man. That was amazing.
Awesome.
Oh, this is gonna be hard. Oh God. So it's later than it looks. Well, it says Audi Power. Is it it's not a Cizetta.
It's the Aztec concept car. I kind of cheated here.
I mean, who made the Aztec? Aztec made Aztec?
Yeah, it was oh shoot, I forgot who designed it, but it might have been, oh man, I forgot. It just slipped my mind.
I'm definitely not going to say. More like Aztec. Uh,
All right. What about this?
oh, kind of looks Corvair to me. Oh, but it's not. Oh, it's Jesus. You're being really brutal today. This is oh, it's like the MGTD, like, but a kit car. It's definitely a kit car. It's like a
Oh,
weirdo kit. Oh God, why?
it's
Oh,
a
my eyes.
Seata. It's a Seata, and this
That
car was
hurts.
made like I think in the 70s. It is so bad.
It really is a Seata, but it's Seatas. There's the 1950s sports car. Is this
Hmm.
the same company just resurrected in the 1970s?
Yeah,
Like
it's this
SIATA.
correct. It's the Seata Spring.
I'll take winter, summer, thanks. Interesting. I never heard of it, never seen it. I know the Seata brand from the 1950s, like the sports cars, but this is new for me.
Yeah, I'm trying to see when it was made. I'm doing some research here on the fly, ladies and gentlemen. 75 was the last year for this
Yeah, that's
abomination.
there was a lot going on in the 1970s.
Yeah. So we've come to the top of the hour, and I was going to just ask, what you've owned? I've owned 5 convertibles. We don't have time to go through them, but I'm wondering if you know offhand how many you've owned. I'm sure it's way more than 5, right?
I don't know if it's way more than 5. I owned 2 Miatas. I had a Cabrio. I've had that's 3. What else did I
MG.
own?
You had an MG.
I had an MG. That's 4.
Celica, convertible Celica.
No, I never owned a Celica convertible. That might
Eldorado.
be it. It might be 4. I'll have to go back and look.
Okay.
But I'm currently without a convertible, and it's my wife who keeps saying, "Do you miss the convertible?" And I'm like, "Yeah, a little bit. Do you want me to buy another car?" And she goes,
Do you
"Oh,
want
no,
one?
no, no, no." And
Do you want one of these? I'm sure we can find you one.
I definitely don't want one of those.
All right. Out of everything that we looked at today, there's a lot of accessible stuff. Some of it wasn't, you
Yeah,
know, but what would you take out of
Miata.
everything? The
It
Miata.
sounds so cliche, but yeah, or a 911. You know what? I'm so cliche today. I guess I am every day, but like a really clean first gen Miata that's well done. Either the black with the red interior 1993 special edition or the British Racing Green 1992. Um, those are my two. They're interchangeable for favorite Miatas of all time. I'd probably edge out the green one. Um,
Hmm.
they're just pure little cars. When you get one that's well sorted and nice and clean, and it's a perfect fun car to drive around. And again,
Yeah.
not pretentious, not like you're trying too hard. Um, yeah, Miata. It's always
Excellent.
the answer.
Excellent. Yeah. Miata is
What about
always the
you?
answer. Out of everything we looked at today, um, I got to tell you, I'm going to have to go back through this deck.
I was hoping you were going to say the PT Cruiser since it popped up.
But no, something accessible. Um, Nothing here. Juliet, I already have. I would say. I mean the Cabrio. I
The
think
Volkswagen?
the Volkswagen Cabrio or a first gen Miata. Yeah.
It's interesting, right? Like car guys that can have not whatever we want, but like car guys that can have fun cars and spend a little bit of money. And at the end of the day, I don't know what it is, but I'm like trying to get back to my roots of like
Mhm.
simple, easy to live with, fun to drive. That's what I want more than anything.
Yeah. I
Um,
miss. I had a E36 M3 convertible that I sold during COVID, which I wish I didn't. I really regret selling that car because it had a usable back seat, and the kids and I would go for drives like late at night and summer nights. And the 3 of us, and sometimes my wife would come with us. But I really miss having a convertible with a back seat.
Yeah, yeah, I get that, and I agree. And the Miata doesn't fulfill that, but the
The
Cabrio's.
Cabrio has a decent back seat, right?
I keep waiting to. So the guy that bought my old Cabrio lives like 3 miles from me, except he has another house in South Carolina. And literally the day after I sold it to him, he left for South Carolina. He hasn't come back yet. So the Cabrio sits on a battery tender in that garage. And I so badly want to buy it back. But it's one of those things where I don't want to text him. I want to see him and have a conversation. I don't think he's ever coming back. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I desperately want to buy that Cabrio back.
Do you know him?
I do. I know him. Like, I mean,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
you have his phone number.
I do
You
have
can
his phone.
message him. Why wouldn't you just text him out of the blue and say, "Hey, I saw a Cabrio on the road and I thought of you. How's everything going, Jerry?"
It's well, first off, his name's Frank, but otherwise,
Okay.
um, yeah, I think it might get to that point. But I was kind of hoping that it would happen organically, where I was like, "Hey, Frank, like, good to see you."
We're you gonna manifest this and like, but what's the benefit?
I
Like, you
put it
think?
on my vision board. That should be enough, right?
Okay, it certainly is. It's enough for me. Speaking of enough for me, this our
Good
time
segue.
together has been enough for me. Um, it was good seeing you. We missed last week because you had a catastrophe happen.
I've been having a lot of catastrophes lately.
Yeah. So, but we'll do next week. I may be. I'm going to definitely be here next week. You're going to be here next week.
I will be here next week, and so we will come up with a something exciting and fun to talk about.
I know we've talked about doing a show just on wheels. So maybe next week could be a show on wheels. Who knows?
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. All right.
All
Well,
right.
enjoy your week and like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe, and speed safely.